What's the biggest frick up you ever made that was fixed before anyone knew about it? Parents went out for the weekend. I wasn't a bad kid, so there was only one rule. No hooker in the living room. Easy enough. Smile and wave. Promise not to burn the house down. Yada yada yada. I end up smoking hooker in my living room, which had been recently recapeated. One of my friends goes to flip the coal, and I gave him a warning of how this was the only rule I had, and if he dropped the coal, my parents would never let me live it down. Plus I didn't have enough money to get my entire living room recapeated before they got back. He nods and goes for the coal. Next thing I know, the red hot coal falls onto the carpet and starts sizzling a nice burn hole directly into the center of the rug. I jump for it, attempting to pick up the hot coal with my hands. I succeed in getting the coal back onto the hooker, but not before shooting a bunch of embers onto a floor mat by the door. The floor mat was a surplus section left over from the new rug, and luckily had the same wear and weave pattern as the area I had burned. Luckily, one of the friends I was with had a father who installed rugs professionally. On Sunday, George, who we now call the carpet whisperer, worked overtime on his hands and knees to patch the spot I had burned. A half hour before my parents got home, George finished up and left me the burnt cutout piece, promising not to tell my parents. He did leave me with the burnt section he cut out, which I still have tucked away for a special day. When I was 15, I tried to bake a carrot cake, and I think I misread how much carrots to put, and ended up with maybe 10x the amount of carrots you're supposed to make. Whatever I did, it became the mushiest cake ever. Guests were already coming, and in a stroke of genius, I told my mom's friends, since 2 of you are bringing your babies along, I made it extra soft for them. I also reduced the sugar and increased the carrots to make it healthier. My parents' friends kept going on about what a thoughtful sweet kid I am, baking a cake specially with babies in mind. The weird thing was, the babies were hooked on the cake. One of the moms kept calling my mom for the next few months asking if I have time to bake that cake again. I did try to replicate it, but I just couldn't, so I kept pretending I was too busy. I met her kid again when she was 11, and apparently one of her earliest memories was eating that cake. Her mom told me I was the one who baked it for her, so she was really excited to meet me because in her memories, it's some mind-blowingly awesome cake that no cake has ever compared to. I had to burst her bubble and tell her what really happened. Late one morning I was going 68 miles per hour in a 35 miles per hour zone. Saw the cop on the side of the road and pulled over before he could even start his car or get his lights on. Came up to the window, said he's never seen someone pull themselves over and that he wished I ran because that would be more fun. 30 seconds later he gave me a verbal warning and sent me on my way. Lucky shit. Decided to get oil changed to see if it would fix rattle in car. After 30 minutes of waiting, the mechanic walks in and asks me how long it had been since I'd got the oil changed. I'd just gotten the car, so I wasn't sure. Well, I've worked here for 5 years and never seen a car driven in here with no oil at all. Not too long till the car would have just locked up. Glad I decided to take it after work instead of on the weekend. Accidentally deleted one of the master files for my business unit. Remember that one of my co-workers compulsively saves everything they do. Think 20 plus copies of a 1 GB file each with 1 or 2 extra variables. Found one with just an additional filter variable and all was good. I was writing a religion paper for high school and my mom really wanted to proofread it. I turned her down time and time again, but eventually let her take a crack at it. Thanks to her, I didn't submit a paper on the lion, the bitch, and the wardrobe. LMAO, this reminds me of my high school religion class, except I didn't realize, and my teacher got mad. It was a paper on homosexuality in Judaism and everything was professional about it, except I had to email it. I forgot I saved it homos and Jews. Still got like an 80, but man, that scowl on my teacher's face. Yikes. One night during my sophomore year of college I came home drunk and really needed to go to the bathroom. I shared a room with 2 other girls who were both sleeping at the time. Instead of going into our bathroom, I went into our closet and peed into my one roommate's laundry basket. The weird thing was I was aware that I was doing so, but didn't think it was a big deal. The next day I woke up and completely forgot until I went into the closet. Before she woke up, I took out all her dirty clothes which were now covered in pee, washed them, and disinfected her laundry bin. Luckily it was plastic, so it was easy to clean. Although she's my best friend, it's been about 4 years, and I've still never told her, waiting for the right time. Not myself but my dad had the story confirmed to me by him and a number of his friends who were there too, so definitely was true. He was on rugby tour with his team, and in classic rugby tour fashion, were being idiots in their hotel, drinking too much, being rowdy, that sort of stuff. At one point it ended up my dad chasing one of his teammates down the hallway. The teammate he was chasing was in the room right on the end of the hallway. They got up to full sprint. The teammate got into his room before my dad could catch him and slammed the door behind himself. My dad was 6'5" 5 inches, 195 centimeters, and weighed around 17 stone, 238 pounds in his playing days, so he was a big guy. He didn't have time to stop when his friend shut the door and ended up going straight through it. He took it straight off the hinges and cracked the wood in a number of places. They were due to leave the next day from the hotel, and due to a number of other breakages and the team generally just being dicks, the manager had said that if anything more was broken, they were to be thrown out and there was going to be full room inspections before they left either way. My dad was a bit of a handyman, so carried a small set of screwdrivers with him wherever he went, and luckily he had them on this day. His teammates and him managed to screw the door/hinges back onto the frame. The issue after this were the cracks in the door. The door was a dark brown color with the internal wood just being some light brown cheap chipboard-like material. Due to this the cracks were very noticeable. One of his teammates came up with a plan. In each of their rooms they had a standard complimentary tea/coffee/biscuits as well as a small tub of Nutella. No idea if Nutella is a thing outside of Europe, but for anyone who doesn't know, it is a nutty chocolate spread, dark brown colored. Rumor also has it that it is actually nectar from the gods to go with the biscuits. Nutella, conveniently, was almost a perfect color match to the broken door. A number of their rooms donated their Nutella to the cause and they smeared the cracks with it to make them blend in. Along came the room inspection upon checkout, and the manager checked each room one by one with them watching. Apparently they had left the door open for him in hope that he would not use it at all. He didn't look at it at all on the way in and just shut it behind him on his way out, the door with makeshift chocolate flavored cement held together, and he didn't notice a thing. They had got away with it. As far as any of the guys involved know, the owner never got in contact with the club regarding the door over the following few weeks, so while he inevitably found out about it eventually, the running theory goes that due to him missing it in the inspection, they couldn't be blamed. However many days/weeks later it was noticed. I work for a credit card company. One day our main systems crashed, so we had to use the old DOS systems to access the customers' accounts. So this lady calls and wants to reduce her limit from $3,500 to $1,000. Easy. But what I didn't know, since we were basically using a system created even before I was born, was that I was supposed to delete the old limit and then put the new one. So because of my mistake, the lady had for a very brief moment a limit of $1,350,000. Was about 10 years old, playing golf with my granddad at the driving range. I was doing terrible and just blasting grass cutters up to the 100-yard sign. Couldn't get any air whatsoever. So my granddad told me that we were finished and went to pick up the balls to leave. I was still raging and had a few balls left over, so I put one of the balls on a tee, smack it, and I hear that sweet ting. This ball is traveling really freaking far. My granddad is way up the driving range, picking up his balls, and this ball is going straight for the back of his head. Time just slowed down, and I could see the trajectory ending right at the back of his head. It is the luckiest I have ever been. Just as the ball is about to wallop the back of his head, he bends down to pick up a ball and it narrowly misses. This is the luckiest moment of my life. I also have another extremely close call golfing incident. This is less a frick up and more an near miss. One time, before I knew shit about cars, my '87 truck overheated on the way to work. I pulled over, walked into a gas station, and grabbed a gallon of water because I knew that when a car overheats you're supposed to pour room temp water into the radiator. What I didn't know was that it needs to not have been running for a few before you attempt to unscrew the top. The superheated geyser that resulted mist melting my face off by a cool 6 inches or so. Never did that again. You have a message from the close call man. Like and sub for nothing in return.